Alright, I'm Jonathan Moody, and this is my persuasive speech on why people should be drug tested who's on welfare. Audience, I don't depart. Our student, extra points. Alright, so everyone here's had a job before, right?
Absolutely correct.
When you got that job, you probably had to be drug tested, right?
Absolutely.
Alright, so think about it this way. In order for you to make money, you have to take a drug test, right?
Yeah.
So why is it fair for someone to receive government aid, i.e. free money, and not be drug tested? No, it isn't.
Doesn't seem very fair to me.
Alright, so most states, you guys probably don't know, but most states right now don't enforce this standard. There's only 15 states that actually enforce a drug test standard for people who's actually receiving welfare. So my speech today is to persuade you to side with me when it comes to people being drug tested in order to receive welfare. I've been on both sides of it. I was in the Army for 9 years, so the federal side, I had to be drug tested all the time, right? So if I failed the drug test, lost my job, I get paid. Also been on the government aid side. Whenever I had my kid, I received a WIC, right? So if they told me, hey, in order to receive this WIC, which is free money, gives me free food for my family, you got to take this drug test. Cool, no problem, done, right? Just like if right now, me getting a Pell Grant, if they said, hey, you want this $5,000, you need to take this drug test. Cool, got it, let's do it. That's free money going in my pocket. I don't have to pay back, right? So some of you guys might not know what welfare is. All right, so welfare is a government program which provides financial aid to individuals or groups of people who cannot provide for themselves. So essentially, it started back in the 1930s during the Great Depression when most families couldn't provide for their families. So they went to state and local governments to essentially ask for help. Well, it got to the point where these governments were being overwhelmed and they turned to the federal government. Well, it got to the point where the federal government became solely in charge of it in 1935. So from 1935 up until now, the federal government's been solely in charge of the welfare program. Well, today the welfare program consists of 13 categories. These are large categories. They break them into subcategories. We're not really going to go into them because from the last time I looked, there's over 150 different programs that fall underneath welfare. Some of you guys might know some, like I said, the Pell Grant, you got WIC, food stamps, government housing, stuff like this, right? Alright, so how it impacts America today. Roughly there's 12 million people on welfare right now. Right? So with that being said, the workforce is constantly shrinking. A lot of people don't understand welfare is supposed to be short term. So it's essentially a safety net because everyone's going to fall in hard times at one point, right? You can't be 100% of the time. You're going to fall, but that welfare, that safety net is there to catch you, to help you get back on your feet so you can continue to provide for your family. Well, the issue that we're running in today is people taking advantage of it. And like anything, you're always going to have bad apples that turn it, bad for everyone, essentially. All right, these programs are designed to be short-term, like I was saying, but most people started becoming more reliant on the government instead of more being self-reliant like they should have been. And in return, this is affecting you, the taxpayer. So right now, it's roughly costing each one of you $6,000 a year to pay these other people to live off your money, off your dime. All right?
I need that.
All right, so you might be asking yourself, how this is affecting you or how these states are enforcing these standards, because in the long run, it is going to affect you. So right now, here's a look at what 15 states are actually enforcing these standards, and right now I believe there's another 22 that's jumping on the bandwagon to actually start imposing these laws. So we'll take Georgia, for example. Georgia, back in April of 2012, passed law HB 861, I believe it was, which essentially stated, hey, if you're going to receive government aid, you have to take this drug test. It's pretty straightforward and simple. You take the drug test, which they have to pay for, so right off the bat, that's saving you guys money, saving me money. You take the drug test, you fail if you don't get government aid. Point blank period. You come back a month from the day you failed the test, you can retake the drug test, you pass it, you're good to go. You get your government aid. With that being said, a lot of questions and concerns were brought up. It was talking about, how it's affecting kids. Well, if someone fails the drug test but they have kids, it's not going to affect them. They don't lose the benefits. It's going to go to another person in the family who's going to be considered more reliable. But with that being said, they also have to take the drug test, and it's going to continue to go from there. If they fail, next person, if they fail, this is going to keep going. All right. So you might be asking yourself how this is affecting you on a day-to-day basis, and once you see how this is affecting you, hopefully you'll be able to jump on that bandwagon and help make a change. All right, so right now this is as of the fiscal year of 2017, which fiscal year is not even over yet. We've already spent $1.117 billion on welfare alone. So, and the crazy thing is when you actually sit down and do the math, so this is an average household of 4 makes a median income more of a household of 4 who's actually working. It's kind of backwards, right? So that being said, you know, it's kind of showing why people tend to ride the system, right? All right, so again, how this affects you. Right now, all programs aren't being tested for drugs. They have select programs that are actually doing the whole drug test thing in some states, and I think Georgia and Alabama are one of them. They look for suspicion. So if they believe someone has a drug history, if someone does have a drug history who's receiving financial or some type of government aid, they're going to actually drug test them. Florida is another example. So this is how it affects you guys as the taxpayer. So in 2009, Florida started implementing the whole drug testing to receive state aid or federal aid. Well, when they first implemented it, it only saved them $200,000 for the whole year, which in return, I mean, they spent $178 million total for state and federal aid. But whenever they actually set this standard in the following year, applications for actually receiving government aid actually dropped 48%. So just because they set that standard of, hey, if you want us to help you, you're going to have to, you know, go by our rules, right? Applications dropped by 50%. In return, saving them $2 million in less than 5 months. So you think if every state were to actually do this, right, you're saving hundreds of millions of dollars first year around already off the bat. Because right now, welfare is already tapping close to $1 trillion a year towards spending. All right, in conclusion, we're going to close out the history of welfare. All right, remember, it's supposed to be short-term. Short-term. A lot of people, like we were saying before, abusing the system ended up living off it longer, and in return, you guys are having to pay more money in taxes. It is only fair for those who are wanting free money from the government to have to comply with the same drug test requirements that people in the workforce have to submit to, right? So like we were saying earlier, if you got to take a drug test in order to get a job to provide for you and your family, it's only fair if someone's going to want free handouts, essentially, that they have to play by the same rules. Long-term drug testing of citizens who receive government aid will save millions per year, like we were stating earlier, and the money saved can be put towards either other programs that need it or other people that actually need it. And in return, within doing these drug tests for these people, you can help identify people who aren't essentially bad but have these addictions. You can identify them, you can help get them the help they need to actually get them back out into the workforce and continue to be a productive member of today's society. All right, I appreciate your time. Thanks.